Hello, Rochelle. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad. It's sunny today, so I'm very.
No, I know it's so much better than it has been in a little while.
I
So
know the rain's been so bad.
literally,
So thank you for coming to speak with me today.
that's
Really
okay.
appreciate it. Am I all right to just jump in? Is that all right? Yeah,
Absolutely.
brilliant. So would you like just to quickly introduce yourself so everyone can hear who you are?
Yes, hi. So I'm Rochelle and I am a placements executive at Kingston University. And I'm also a park play leader at Gunnersbury Park. So I run some sessions and games on a Saturday as well. And I play netball for Teddington Thunders.
Brilliant. Lovely. And can you tell me a bit about like how you got into sports in the first place? What was it that, sparked your love for it?
Absolutely. So I remember getting into sports from sort of primary school. It was actually a primary school teacher that really encouraged me to participate. So we used to have a ball during class, and all the boys would tend to take the ball, and he was going, I want the girls
Remember
to kind
those
of get
days?
involved.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So took the ball, started playing with it, and then started playing for some of the sports teams, and then got into athletics and got
Hmm.
into football. And then when I went to secondary school, so I went to an all-girls school, and that's what really got me into it. So I was playing sort of netball, hockey, football, and I think the PE focus was really high
Yeah.
in terms of getting women into sport and encouraging us and training us. So I just played throughout the whole of secondary school. I was injured, and then but then carried back on when I got to university.
Oh, lovely. Was there any like particular teams that you joined in high school or anything? Like anything that you like really love to do?
Yeah, netball I think was one of my biggest ones that I enjoyed because I played that both outside of school and inside as well. So netball, hockey, and football were the main teams, and I was eventually by sort of end of school I was captain of those three teams
Oh,
as
wow.
well. So yeah, playing those. Athletics during the summer was awesome as well. So I used to do discus and a bit of running as
Oh,
well.
lovely. Oh, lovely. Yeah, because was there a lot of focus in your school on sports? Because like with mine, it was quite just netball strictly for girls.
So our school was a science school, but I think because it was an all-girls school, encouraging us to get active and keep fit was a really
I
big
see.
thing. So getting into sports, and I think that's what made me pick kind of PE long course as well. So we were definitely encouraged. There was always an activity after school. There was always something different, and you'd have the winter sports and the summer sports. But we were really
Hmm.
actively encouraged. And our head teacher was very big on sports. So I think the first time I'd ever met her, I saw her. It was during the summer, and she'd come down to the kind of athletics track and went on the long jump and was just doing it. So you could see from that point of view, they were just really big on it.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. I love when schools are, really into promoting sports because it is something that I feel can sometimes go like it's not seen as much in some schools. It's not something that's it's in the forefront.
Yeah. And I think seeing other teachers as well being really encouraging of it as well, and almost, letting you leave class if you needed to go and represent the school for
Hmm.
sports, and also teachers coming down to support when you had home matches as well was really lovely. So I think all of the different members of staff and other students were just really supportive of each other when it came to getting involved in sports.
Oh, that's brilliant. And how did you end up playing netball and becoming captain in your university experience as well?
So netball for me, I think because my mum played netball, so we played netball together. Well, not together, but for the same
Mhm.
team. So there were the juniors and she was in the seniors. So that was started in the when I was younger. So I'd always played netball from sort of age 9,
Yeah.
then carried on throughout secondary school. So I think then when I went back to university, so I went slightly later to uni, I
Mhm.
wanted to kind of get into societies and kind of get to know more people.
Yeah.
So I joined the netball club, and within the netball club, there were different teams. And so I joined the Lussell teams, that's the London Universities League. And off the back of that, I think it was just kind of getting involved, showing up to the training regularly, getting better and improving. And eventually, when it came to the next year and they were looking for captains,
Mhm.
I went for that and got it. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. And how have you found it? Like, are you still playing netball now?
I still play netball now,
Yeah.
yeah. So I play for a local team, Teddington
Oh, nice.
Thunders, and they're brilliant because they're both social and recreational. I think that's one of the biggest things about you know, lots of people love to do the competitive side, but I think that some women maybe drop off sports because it gets too competitive or they haven't got enough time to commit. But I think because there's a social element of this team, it's enjoyable because we can all play netball to a really good standard, but also have a really good social aspect too. So it's like you become friends with everyone as well, and then you have the socials outside outside of training.
Yeah, and I bet that was quite important for you in university because it is such a nice way to connect with other people, isn't it?
Well, yeah, so when I did netball university, so because I was not living on campus, it was a really nice way to get to know people and kind of get to know people from different courses. So from that respect, it just meant that you can kind of become friends with different people, and then you get into the habit of coming to training regularly and kind of encouraging each other. So that was nice.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, so what other kind of personal benefits did you get from, you know, just participating in sports in general? Like, what is like the key things for you that you really look for when you join sports and stuff?
I think the buzz that you get from it, so even if you're having a bit of a low day, the kind of the highs you feel, the benefits. I think Joe Wicks always says this, even if he's got a day when he doesn't feel up for training or whatever, and you know, you go and do a session, you think, I feel really good off the back of that. Like it just does it helps. So I feel really energized off the back of it. You feel like you're a part of something. I think the more you get involved with the team, the more you feel like, you know, I've got team members that I want to support and I want to be there to help them when I'm on court, and, you know, pick each other up when we're feeling down, and morale boosting. So it's really nice from that respect. So I definitely get that as a benefit, and just feeling fitter as well, because I do an office-based job. I'm working from home at the moment, but pretty much an office-based job. So it means it gets me moving. It's that part of my week where I'm actually active and I'm getting involved, getting outside, getting outdoors, always good for you rather than being cooped up inside. So yeah, it's got so many benefits.
That literally is the best part about sports. It's really is just the opportunity to get out and socialize. So yeah, and how have you kind of found everything with lockdown as well? Like obviously we've not been able to have the luxury of going out as often, meeting people. How has that kind of been for you?
So it's been hard, I'd say, because netball training, of course, like all sports, had to be cancelled. But that encouraged me to get into running. So I was doing a bit of running just to kind of keep up my fitness. And then I did get a netball just to kind of have at home, just to kind of do some drills by myself. And then when things started to slowly open up, our team were brilliant in terms of, you know, staying COVID compliant. So when we were allowed to go back to training, it was like sanitizers at the ready. We were doing individual. So even though we went to training, we'd do individual kind of drills until we were able to start doing passing the ball between each other, only if we felt comfortable. And then we also made a lockdown video as well with the netball team. So we did this thing where we'd pass the ball almost to your left and the next person would catch it. So it was a nice way of still supporting each other and encouraging, you know, and I did some HIIT classes as well. I led some HIIT classes with some friends online, again, just to keep fit, because you miss that element and that social aspect, and it makes a big difference. And I think now getting back into it really, you can see people are happier, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like for me, it was a kind of on the back burner for a while during lockdown, but now we're finally coming out. It's just like such a relief to be able to go back out and meet people finally after so long.
Yeah. Are you a netball player? Do you play or any sport?
I'm a basketball person, actually.
Basketball.
Yeah, I used to get fouled in netball all the time. So I kept doing the basketball things where obviously it's very different from netball, isn't it? So
yeah.
Similarities
and differences.
How did you kind of get involved with the park play stuff? Because you mentioned that before.
Yeah, so with Park Play, so I follow a lady called Caitlin Limmer who runs the Bearcats running club. I saw on LinkedIn that she posted about it, and I kind of put the connection between Park Run and Park Play. So I could tell that it was going to be some sort of activity on a Saturday that was taking place. I thought, let me get involved, and so I kind of contacted the CEO, Rick, and so kind of did a bit of an interview, get to know you, him and the team, and then just started getting involved. So we launched in Gunnersbury on the 24th of April, and it's completely free. You know, it's for everyone to come down with their friends, families. always different kinds of games and sports just to kind of get people moving together, trying out new games and things. It's just so lovely because it's bringing people back into like our green spaces. The weather hasn't been amazing for the past few weeks, but hopefully as we go towards summit we'll pick up. But it's just
Fingers
nice
crossed.
Again, it's that community thing, it's that bringing people together, it's the moving, it's the kind of seeing the smiles on people's faces, having a good time, and getting fit without realizing. That's one thing I should say about netball and sport in general. I think there's a slight difference just going to the gym to keep fit, whereas when you're playing sport you almost forget that I'm here to get fit, but I'm here to have fun. You know, even though both gyms and sports have that community sense, which is a brilliant thing regardless of which one you're into, I do think with sports there's just something about it where you forget that you're the physical benefits, almost you're just getting it as a byproduct, if you like. Yeah, no, that's again same thing for me. Like I prefer sports where there's a group setting, because it's just so much more motivating and inspiring. You've done marathons as well, haven't you? I think I read. One marathon. I like the marathon plural. One marathon. Yeah, I did the London Marathon. So funnily enough, this was 2013, my first London Marathon. I did that because I had an ACL reconstruction. So in my final year of secondary school, I had an injury from football. And so I had to have an ACL reconstruction. I remember the doctors being like, oh, you can only really move in straight lines, kind of keep it low impact. And I think when I was recovering, I just thought, the one thing that I could probably get into is running, because I couldn't go straight back into netball because it's too high impact. Even though running on the ground is kind of high impact, it's a bit better than going straight back into netball. So I thought, let me just get to the finish line of a marathon. I've never done it. Running wasn't my biggest thing at secondary school. So I thought, let me do that. And so, I completed that. Oh, that's a lovely experience then. Yeah, it's in the London Marathon. Any marathon, I think people will have really missed that over the last year, as with everything that we didn't get to do. But I think when people can get back into proper races, again, bringing people together, the celebrations of people, everyone has their own reason for running, everyone has their own reason for doing it. It's like, it's a great experience. And also if you're raising money for charity as well, that's a winner. Exactly, because I think the Couch to 5K, was it ongoing, or it's starting to come back again? I think that's an ongoing thing. I thought that was an ongoing thing that people can get involved in. That's a great concept as well, because I think for a lot of people, they're almost like, where do I start with running? So you can literally start anywhere. That's brilliant. And then kind of like moving on, I wanted to talk about kind of like the barriers women face. So have there been any barriers that you face in particular, or can you think of any barriers that a lot of women in general can like face? Yeah, so some barriers that women can face, I think knowing the right communities to join. So I feel like for women, because women do drop off, for various reasons, it's then hard to kind of find a group of people feeling comfortable and feeling invited into that kind of space to be like, I can go and do this, and knowing at what level to get into it. So that can often be quite challenging, and just seeing other women doing it, because obviously with television you see a lot of male dominated sports. So I think kind of seeing it is one thing, and the more you can kind of see it, you think, oh, actually I can get involved. So I think that can often be a barrier for women to participate. And then also just like fitting it into like their schedules as well. I know it's about making time, but I think everyone's got different schedules. And say, for example, like, this is quite stereotypical, but if you're a mum, for example, that might be really hard if you've got like the school run, and if you're doing all of that stuff. I think that could be quite challenging, for parents to kind of get involved as well. And obviously, like during lockdown, we saw with all like the Black Lives Matter and stuff, and I was kind of curious to hear your take on the barriers that Black women face as well. Yeah, I think in terms of communities, again, like, so for example, when I play, I live in quite a predominantly white area, so often I am one of very few Black players on the court. So it's almost like, do other women feel like because they don't see other people on the court they can get involved? Is there enough sport going on in areas where there are high populations of Black people that they feel they are invited to it? Hair can often, it sounds crazy, but like hair can often be something where, say for example, swimming with Afro-Caribbean hair is quite hard to maintain, and so hair can often be a barrier in terms of getting involved from that respect. That's just swimming as an example, not necessarily all sports.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing is kind of the representation, and how do you invite more women of colour to get involved in sports, and then invite other women of colour to get involved in sports as well.
Yeah. Have you got any opinions on how we could encourage women in general and Black women as well? Like, how can we collectively try to encourage that participation?
I think like having those kind of personal invitations. So if there are clubs that can literally reach out, because I think often some places might expect people to come, but if you invite people, if you go to those particular communities, like I know that there are different Instagram accounts that are specific for groups of women to kind of say this is a space for you. I think if you can create that sense of belonging and inviting people rather than expecting them to come, and show up in those spaces where they are and say this is very much a place for you, and making it, you know, of all different levels, so they can join at any entry level point, not just at a really competitive level, that can always be a benefit for people. So I think having that invitation to play is quite crucial.
And like for any girls and like women listening now, like what kind of would you want to tell them to kind of encourage them to think about joining in sports, you know, from beginners to intermediate, etc.? What would you say?
Just go for it, give it a go. Try, don't be scared. And I think people might have this fear from when they played at school and they might not have been the best, or a PE teacher didn't really encourage them, or you know, things like that. Don't let that fear hold you back. The best thing you can do is just to get going, get started, see if you enjoy it. Maybe it's about trying out different sports and seeing what's for you, and just making it lighthearted. Just have fun. The main thing, if anything, is have fun. I think if you can't have fun with it, then it's obviously going to be quite stressful and you won't want to go back. Have fun, find your group of people, you know, maybe bring a friend along if you can. Reach out to a club in advance just to say, I'm thinking of coming along, is that okay? Just they're aware that, you know, my club was super friendly and would welcome so many, you know, anyone to come along. They're just so welcoming in that respect. So I think if you can just give it a go, then that's one step in the right direction.
And just how would you what advice would you give them to find these communities? Because obviously in some communities we're not so fortunate to have that kind of environment sometimes. So do you have like any thoughts on that?
I think local government websites will often have like what sports going on in the community. Facebook groups as well will kind of say what's going on. I know, for example, with netball, there are social leagues, so you could go on like Go Mammoth, for example, and check out what kind of social leagues are happening. And also Instagram as well, checking out the Instagram groups and just looking at what local clubs are around your area. So if you just do a Google search and check out what local clubs are available, and then get in touch with the kind of, you know, the captains or the coaches to see if you can get involved that way.
Brilliant. Is there anything else you'd like to add, anything else you'd like to say? Or
I just hope that women, I would love to see more women just getting involved in sports, really. I think once you kind of dip your toe into it, you do kind of get the bug for it. And I think also if more women can play like team sports as well, because I know there is a big gym community and a gym culture. So I want to
there is, isn't there?
into the sports team sports community as well, because I think it's such a great place to be in.
Brilliant. Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you
this was
very much
really
as well.
useful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No
have a lovely rest of your week. Good luck with your meetings and stuff later as well.
Thank you.
And stay in contact.
Thanks very much. Take care.
Bye.